If you're a real estate agent who's looking for a great source of new listings and motivated sellers, and who isn't right now, right? Then you're definitely going to want to check out today's Free Coaching Friday, because we are going to unpack how Allison has taken 3 listings in the last 60 days from a cash offer seller lead generation campaign, specifically on Facebook. And we're going to walk through exactly how she's doing it, break down the numbers, and give you everything you need to potentially model it. Now, if you enjoy today's session and you'd like to join us for a live coaching huddle, or you'd just like more information about our organization, get back to the person who sent you this video or check out the information in the description. Without further ado, let's dig in. Okay, so Allison agreed to do a little deeper dive on, she had shared some wins recently of listings that she's gotten with street text cash offer as the top of funnel. So she's doing a street text home value ad where it's slightly tweaking one of their templates to say, if, you know, would you, what does it say? If you could sell your home all cash and move when you choose anytime in the next 6 months, would you? Something along those lines. You know, find out the cash value of your home in the current market. And Allison, you had shared that, I think, or did Mike share what that looked like last week?
I had put it on there. I put it in the chat.
Okay. Well, not a huge deal, because if you want that campaign, we can just build it for you. And we have a smart campaign that goes on the back of it. So that part, although you may be listening and thinking that doesn't seem easy, we can make that part of it easy for you. The harder part is, how do you pivot? And how do you take, you know, when they are expecting one thing, right, wrong, or otherwise, they have one expectation. How do you turn that around? So I thought it would be helpful and useful, Allison, if you can unpack any of what you can remember as far as what did they respond to? What were the conversations like? What did you send them? How long of a time period? And actually, let's go back even before that. Do you know how many leads you've generated with that campaign total, approximately?
Yeah. So 75 leads, and I got 3 listings out of the 75 leads.
75 leads. Do you know what that has cost you?
You know, because it was through different ones, I don't know, but you know, I could probably look and find out for you.
Let's make a conservative guess. Was it $10 a lead, 15, 20, 8?
I'm gonna say, you know, for the 75, I think like my average on there was like 16, 20 a lead or something like that.
I'm gonna go real conservative, and let's go with 20.
Okay.
Okay. Which means you've generated 75 leads. That's if we're going conservative, let's assume it costs $1,500 to generate them. And actually, let's go beyond that, because there's a cost for street text. And to do these type of campaigns, you need street text, because their home value landing page flow, I've just found, is worth what they charge. We can't replicate it as we can't make it work as well as they can. So you're going to need that in order to replicate that, for us to duplicate. So let's say all told $2,000 for 75 leads, which means what does that mean? That means about 666 per listing in this particular scenario. What sort of time frame window are we looking at? Like, how long ago did you start generating these leads?
I'll say, you know, 60 days ago.
Okay, so let's say 90 days, because I want to go extreme here. So let's say she's been generating these leads for 90 days. It costs her about $666 per listing based upon these numbers so far. What would you say is the average gross commission, just the listing side on these?
Average of them, you know, 9,000.
So 9,000 per listing. So they're on, the average price is 300,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some are a little more, some are a little less.
Yeah. Okay. So right off the bat, I'm seeing we have greater than a 10-to-1 ROI in this particular situation. And honestly, the more I'm doing this personally for me, the more I'm okay with, like, if it's 5-to-1, I'm good. So 10-to-1, I think is fantastic. So we have at least an idea of some of the metrics, and you're using a smart campaign with KV Core, ringless voicemail, text, email.
Well, you know, I'll be honest, I didn't do the ringless voicemail.
Okay, so text and email.
Yeah.
That part is automated. Are you
Whatever
doing any
Mike set up for me, that's what I have in there.
Okay, but you don't have the ringless voicemail add-on.
No.
Okay.
You know, I have it
that's
for
good.
KV Core and it distorts my voice, and I didn't want to spend the money for the other one, so no.
Quick side note, it does that with me too. I record them with a voice memo and then upload them.
I don't know how to do
They're
that.
built in.
One day we could do that.
The built-in thing, it does the same to me, but I record them on my voice memo. Regardless, that's actually good. That's good news for everyone. Like, not even, maybe the ringless voicemails that I'm doing, maybe it's hurting. I don't know. You don't know until you try stuff. Are you doing anything? Are you doing any direct mail? And are you doing anything else manually?
I'll put them into HomeBot.
Okay. So that's a manual process, at least on some level. You can, street text can make it a little bit easier, but there's still some manual work required
I
there.
will follow up with, like, I'll send them the Zudelio link.
And you're personally sending that to them?
Yes, I either will email if I don't have their phone number, or I will text them if I have their phone number. I do find the texting works best.
Okay, and by Zudelio link, if you don't know, she's using the cash offer platform that we have with HomeBoss, where they can fill out their information. It goes into Zudelio and blah, blah, blah. We're going to save that. Maybe we'll save some of that for Q&A for those curious, but I just want to unpack some of these things first. So no direct mail.
No direct mail.
Also encouraging for everyone, I would say. Now, let's get into the 3 actual listings. From what you can remember, how did those, like, where did the interaction start? How did they unfold?
So it's basically the same for all of them, because I pretty much am routine about it, and this is what I do. So I text them the link. If I don't, because, if for those of you who have it, as soon as they open the link and put their information in, you get an email and a text from Zudelio saying, hey, check in with this person, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So if they do that, let's say they don't do that first. If they don't do anything with the link, I'll then text them or email, but text usually works best. Hey, I was just wondering if you had any questions regarding the link. I know that you were interested in the cash offers program. Is there anything I can do to make it easier or help you out in any way? Because honestly, my comfort zone is working with elderly people. I love them. I get along with them. I find them just darling. So, and I tend to, all my 3 listings are all people that are 65 to 82. So it's
do you approximately how many days after they haven't completed the Zudelio do you then send the manual follow-up?
About 2 days.
2 days. Okay. So approximately 2 days manually follow up again. Okay. So they don't fill it out. You manually follow up again, which I think is great. And I think for those of you that have checked out anybody having any kind of success with street text, they all have a manual follow-up component. And the at the heart of it is mainly making sure that they got the thing they were asking for in the first place. Like, they're not trying to make a sale. they're coming from a service perspective and making sure they got the thing they wanted in the first place. Some people get annoyed by that, meaning some consumers get annoyed by that, but it really is a service first approach, right? Like, you know, I appreciate if I request something, I don't know, a service appointment for my car, and for some reason I can't schedule it then, like I want people to come make sure I got my service appointment, right? Because I forget and I'm busy and whatever. So anyway, service first approach. But let's continue. So these three, did they do the Zoodealio link, or all three of them didn't? Or maybe a mix of?
All three of them did the Zoodealio link. So two
Okay.
of them I had to, when I texted the two of them, they said, oh, you know, I can't figure this out. I said, would it be easiest for you to do this over the phone with me, or have me come and meet you in person and I can walk you through it? And so we did phone calls and I walked them through it, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize that's all I had to do. And then another lady couldn't put her pictures in, so I had her send me her pictures, and then I uploaded the pictures for her, which she was tickled pink about. And then I'll ask them questions like, because I'll explain the sell and stay, or just the quick, you know, the quick sale. I do try and encourage the sell and stay, because you get the best price.
Yeah.
From Zoodealio, if you use that one. The rest are just, in my experience, I've found they're just so low. At least with the sell and stay, they kind of go by what you say you would list it, and that's what they'll get. But they've all ended up going with the home boss anyway, because they didn't want to pay the 12%.
There was a lot to unpack there, so I want to back it up a few.
Sorry.
Number one, no, that's okay. Number one, all of them filled out the Zoodealio link, right? And
Correct.
we're using a very specific example here, but it doesn't matter. They all took another action, which, you know, which indicates more intent. So whether it's a Zoodealio link, or they start a mortgage application, which isn't, you know, seller lead specific, but what I'm saying is, when people take additional actions, that naturally means there's more intent. They're more likely, you know, hotter leads, let's say, or more, you know, they have more intent. So, and that is a good way of sifting and sorting, regardless of what type of campaign you're running. Like, and she sends, and I think this is right, you send one other manual follow-up if they don't fill out the Zoodealio.
Yes, I thought, yes, but I try to get like some sort of response. So if it's a text, let me know that you're getting this. But what I have found, and I don't know if anyone else has found this, because I had Mike set me up the 3 different campaigns: the seller leads, the seller tips, the new construction, and this. I found out that a lot of my emails were just going into people's spam.
Yeah.
And I found that out because a lot of people with the new construction would respond saying, because it sends out a text saying, hey, just checking, did you get my list? And so many people would be like, I didn't get your list, and here's my address, I'm waiting for it, so on and so forth. And lo and behold, it was going into spam. So I do think that if you do have a phone number, to use the text over the email.
2 things. So I'm still trying to catch up from the nuggets you were dropping before, but two things. That's okay. 2 things with that. That's exactly why we have that script in there, because you can then tell them, I know that we sent it, so either we have the wrong email, or it ended up in your junk or spam folder, which happens. It's coming from this email with this subject line. Let me know if you can find it. If not, I'm happy to personally resend it. The other thing that's nice with that is them telling you that is pretty close to the same. She was talking about a buyer campaign, but it's pretty close to the same as a person filling out the Zoodealio link, right? Like, they're taking the time to respond, and they really wanted to look at those. Now, they may just have been, you know, looky-loos, whatever. But if they're taking the time to respond, like, you know, there's some serious intent, and you should use that to then also clarify is there a specific school district you're looking for? Or is there a specific price range you're looking for? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm jumping around there.
And
I want to go back.
do that and it works.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows.
I want to go back to what you were saying, unpacking, and I can remember one other nugget, and maybe I'll remember the other one. But the other big one she said is when they were struggling to figure it out. So people saying, I don't understand how this works. She gave them options. I'm happy to help you on the phone, or I'd be happy to come out and we can do it together. Which would you prefer? Do you want to do it with a quick phone chat or come out? Right. So like, anytime you're doing that, you're likely to get compliance versus saying her only giving one option and saying, I'm happy to help you on the phone with that. Well, some people, they hate the phone, right? They're just like, and would prefer to do it in person. And some people vice versa. You could also offer, and I don't think you want to offer this in addition, offer 3 options, but you could say, are you familiar with Zoom? We could do it on Zoom. I mean, there are different ways that you can address that and offer them options. And this I'm sure you've heard this one before, but the other way is to use options is Monday afternoon or Tuesday morning better for you, right? Anyway, Allison, you were going to add something.
And my other thing is if they do fill out the Zoodealio link, I then text them to say, hey, I saw that you filled out the Zoodealio link. Would it be okay for me to give you a call because I have a couple of other questions that I need to ask you before we can get to your cash offer? And they're like, yeah, sure, absolutely. And then I ask them, how much they've left on their mortgage and all those other questions that they, and I explain the sell and stay. So it's just
beautiful. I love that. I know that this is getting really in the weeds. Are you referring to the Zoodealio link as the Zoodealio link?
No, I just refer to it.
So this is kind of funny. But it's a little thing that can make a big difference. How do you refer to it? Like, what are you saying? Like really specifically, like what does that?
Did you get the link that I sent you? The one that says AllisonSellsNJ.com.
Okay. So she's referring to the, what the link is actually called. Because if you say Zoodealio, I kind of knew the answer, but if you say that, they're going to be like, Zoowadio? What are you talking about? Even if they see it, even if it's actually, the redirect link that they go to, most people are not like, most people are not going to realize that. So, okay. So you've gotten interaction, you've gotten conversation. Sometimes it's a phone call. Sometimes it's you in person with them. Then what? You get the offers from Zoodealio. Then what happens?
Then I always end it by saying, once I get the offers, I'll give you a call and we can discuss them together.
So that's before, that's when you see the submission. So you're keeping them apprised of where we're at, right? Which is good, because some people are like, did it go through? What happened? I don't know what happens now, right? So you're setting the expectations, which is great.
And with the sell and stay, I found it's longer sometimes than 72 hours. Yes. So I do follow up and say, hey, just to let you know, because I have to reach out to them and they're like, we know we have a couple more days, blah, blah, blah. So I'll say, hey, I just wanted to let you know they're trying to get you the best offer they possibly can. It might be another 48 hours at the most or something along those lines. Just so I tell them 24 to 72 hours, but then it sometimes takes additional time.
Okay. And then what? You get them back, then what happens?
Then I get it back and I go onto my Zoodealio page and then I put in the home boss with the 3% listing so that they're side by side and I can show how much they would get if they did it Zoodealio or how much they would get if they did it through the home boss way.
And but then how are you presenting that information to them?
So then I log on with them. It depends. Sometimes I'll do Zoom with them and share their screen, but they tend to just like me to be on the phone with them. And then we go through the offers and then I ask them if they have any questions and they say, well, when you say this other one, this home boss one, does that mean that you'd be listing it? So they, and I said, yes, I'll be listing it. Will there be a sign out in the yard? So they'll just ask questions. And then
Yep.
they always say, oh, that's the one we want to go with. We feel like you're a good fit with us. We get along really well, blah, blah, blah. Because I've had numerous conversations with them by that point.
Numerous conversations and many touches. Right. And so they've gotten text message from you, they've gotten emails from you, you've had either a conversation or an in-person, you've kept them informed and educated all along the way, where we're at, that they don't feel like, at no point do they feel like they're being left out to dry, right? Like they know what's going on. You keep them apprised, and you are doing a much better job with this than I have ever done, even close, with this particular campaign or strategy in general. So kudos.
Well, I couldn't do it without you guys, let me tell you, because it wouldn't have even gotten that far without Mike.
I know, but this is
Mike.
but what's wonderful to see, I think that the point is, if you follow the method, it works. Like, Allison is not doing anything wildly, out of the, I don't mean to detract from this, but you haven't like reinvented the wheel here. You're providing good service. You're making sure they got the thing they wanted. You're presenting the offers, you're including your own, which is best practice, and you're just talking them through and asking for questions, and they come to the conclusion, well, we want to work with you, and it seems like this is probably the best option based upon everything you share.
I will say that I tend to put it in my calendar, or I'll go on KV Core and like snooze it for 2 days, so that way it gives me the reminders that, oh, I got to reach out to this person. So that's how I keep in mind who I have to reach out to when I have to reach out to them.
Great stuff. Gigi, I think you had your hand up before Harry. I just want to make sure I'm honoring the.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too much in the reads either. She was talking about the link. So Allison, do you have a custom domain? Are you forwarding over that Zoodealio link?
Yeah, we did it. I went to that, what is it, Namecheap? Is that who it is, Josh? And then
That's the one that I think is easiest to use.
Yeah, we did it on a call one day. You showed me how to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a question for Josh.
So she is just forwarding, it's just forwarding to her specific cash offer link with Zoodealio. And it's Allison Sells NJ, I think.
Yep.
Yep. So you can, if you just type that into your browser, AllisonSellsNJ.com, and you'll see how it responds. Harry.
I was just going to say, it's the magic combination of technology, courtesy of you and Mike, and Allison's personal touch. That's what wins, right?
Yep. And I would say another layer deep, KV Core, right? Because Mike and I, we're taking the technology and using it the way it's designed to be, intended to be used, but tweaked for what we have available to us and can offer. And we're using street text as well in their technology. So we're marrying technology with best practice, but none of it would work. None of it would work. I mean, she'd get leads, but she wouldn't have gotten listings if she hadn't provided the service and the care and the consistency and just, staying in touch and making good on promises. I mean, that's all she's doing. She's just, making promises, either express or implied, or regardless if those were the right words, you get the idea. And then making sure that she's making good on those things and not dropping the ball for them. And my guess is you haven't had to compete.
Something stuck out to me, Josh, the fact of the age group, and she's picking up the phone. So obviously that age group prefer like a human touch, and they need, like, she realizes that, hey, well, they probably need help with the technology part of it.
But Allison, correct me if I'm wrong, you're only doing that if they ask.
Correct. If they fill out the Zoodealio link, then I go with the whole, hey, I saw that you want the cash offer for your house. I just have a couple of questions that I need answered before we can get you the best price possible. When would be a good time to either meet or to connect, chat, whatever word you want to use? Because
So
you have to
now-
find out. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, now you have a blueprint, and we all have a blueprint now that is predictable and scalable. Does that mean that for every 25 leads you generate that this is going to happen? No, but the wonderful thing for Allison is she now has a baseline metric to go from, right? So anytime you're trying something new, you want to start with a blueprint or plan. You need to implement that plan so that you have enough data, statistically relevant data, to know this works and I can expect, generally speaking, these metrics. And now she can look and say, she hasn't even generated 100. I would typically recommend, with a lead generation type of model of any kind or blueprint of any kind, 100 leads is where you have to get to really make any type of have any sort of takeaways or really make any decisions. But what can happen sooner than that is she has the positive feedback that it's like a beautiful cycle, right? You believe something will work, so you take actions, right? And the actions you take feed the belief, and it keeps going and growing and growing, right? But if you don't believe that something will work in the first place, you can't get the cycle going, right? So she started with an idea or a concept or system that is based upon good, solid fundamentals and best practices. And she took enough action to create a belief system where now I would think anyway, Allison's pretty confident that she can continue to do that if she just continues to follow what she just outlined for all of us here.
Yeah, and just so that full disclosure, this is like my second go around with this campaign. The first time I did it was, I don't know, a while back, and I didn't do any of that follow-up, and I converted one person from it, and it was, he had said to me, hey, can you give me a call? And I called him right then, and I ended up getting a listing. But it was just pure dumb luck. There was no.
But what was missing before, the only thing that you weren't doing before is the manual part that you described here,
Correct.
where you're texting them the link, emailing it to them if you don't have their cell phone number, and you're making sure that they got it, and then you're following up and following through with the ones that actually submit their information on the cash offer platform.
Correct. Prior to that, I was just letting whatever automations were in there do it. And I think I did have the ringless voicemail in there, but it was the one with my voice all distorted.
Garbled up.
And like I said, I did get one, but I think it was just dumb luck. The guy, just.
Yeah. Great. That was wonderful. Any follow-up questions, thoughts, or ideas from anybody in the group? I mean, that was phenomenal. Hope you enjoyed today's coaching session. If you'd like to join us for a live coaching huddle, get back to the person who sent you this video or check out the information below, and we'd be happy to get you a guest pass to join us for one of our huddles. Be sure to implement and take action on something that you learned